So we are in lockdown number 3, and here's an update of how I'm getting on and what's going on. Hi, welcome to the channel. My name is Dan Beasley, and this channel is all about inspiring intentional discipleship, helping you go deeper in your faith and living it out in the world today. Part of me living out my faith in the world today is my calling as a vicar here in the Church of England. This is the church I serve in. It's a beautiful church, St James the Great, in a place called Bearton. This church is 800 years old. It is truly stunning, and it really hasn't changed much since the 1600s. And I'll tell you one thing, it's freezing in here. Absolutely, it's warmer outside than it is in here. The walls are so thick. But on the other hand, in the summer, when it's so hot outside, it's the coolest place to be. It's so nice and just cold in here. So we are in the 3rd lockdown here in the UK. And this time the government allowed churches to be open, and our church was open until the local head honcho of the county of Buckinghamshire wrote to all the religious institutions and said, look, this new strain of the coronavirus is quite volatile, it's passing on really easily, and maybe we should close. So our church leadership voted to close the church because a lot of our congregation and one of our services is elderly and passing it on, and we get families as well. So it's a really difficult, and it was a gut-wrenching decision for everyone to make. But we closed, so we've moved our services online just for the rest of the lockdown. The virus is heading down. The vaccines have started to be rolled out, so we are nearly there. And I don't think we are going to be closed again. It's such a huge thing to close a church, and it's really difficult. It's a really difficult decision, but that's where we are at the moment. I'll be in here later to record the 2 services that we do. We do a traditional communion service where I get my robes on, and then we do a contemporary service where I'll be pretty much like I am now. And so I'll be in here recording those, and they go out on a Sunday. I pre-record them because when I've done live services over in the vicarage, because you can't do live streaming from this building because the walls are so thick and there's no Wi-Fi in here. There's hardly any plugs in here as well. It's so old, and they just got just a few plugs dotted around. So it makes it really difficult. So we have to pre-record if we want to be in the church, but we put it on something called Premiere, so you get a chat function for people to chat to each other, so we can still engage. And this is the thing, how do we engage as a community? The other day we had, which is great, so I'm going to go outside now, because I was going to go outside before, but it started raining. It's just been raining. We had a chat, we had a quiz on Saturday night, which was great, just to come together, and there was nearly 30 of us coming online for a quiz. And it's like, how do we do community together? And this is one thing of how we look, wet floor. It's just in the church. Oh, it's still raining. So I come out. I'm out to put my hood up, just because let's lock the door. Unfortunately, I have to lock the door all the time, and because of insurance purposes, I have to put my hood up because I have to record later, and I don't want to get my hair all wet. So, welcome to rainy old England. So yeah, we did a quiz, and so this is the thing of going forward in the future. So I'm going to do these Vicar's Lives monthly now on the channel. You're going to be involved in my parish, seeing what's going on, and how things develop and how we emerge as a new church. You know, this church is growing in the last year, and with coronavirus and things like that, we've actually grown, and being closed for the 3rd time, we've actually grown the church. But we're in this kind of new way of doing church, and with this fusion of online stuff. And it's like, what, when it comes out, when we finish, I'm going to go over there because the view is beautiful. What does church look like? It definitely needs to be open, but also definitely needs to be online. and how we engage with people online. We're doing the Alpha course, and we're doing that online, and that's really good. And Alpha online is being such a success. No, I need to be careful. It's really muddy. We've got school just down the road, and everyone walks through here, so it gets really slippy. And I have once before gone over on my bum and got so muddy. My wife laughed. So just want to show you, this is my garden. I don't know if you can see it, it's getting a bit steamy on the lens. That view over there, let's see if we can zoom on that view. So we're really lucky. That's what they call the Chiltern Hills. Enough to get the area of natural outstanding beauty in the UK, and it's beautiful. I was running up there this morning around what we call the Chequers Loop. That's where there's a house called Chequers. That's where the Prime Minister, whoever's Prime Minister, that's her weekend residence. So yeah, what does church look like in the future? And we'll be travelling that journey along with many churches, trying to get this fusion. Now we want people to come and meet together, and that's hugely important. But I think it's getting a bit steamy. That's better. Gonna have to clean the lens later now. I did that. But yeah, so what does church look like in the future? So you'll be joining us on that journey. What else is happening here? Well, let's go to the other side of my garden. Because here, right, where we live, they had, this was a vicarage garden. The old vicarage is behind the church, big building. And then, let's go down here because the wall's lower. You'll see the wall's lower. And all the way down here, there's all these houses. This used to be the vicarage, part of the vicarage garden. They've since built these big houses. And then when they built the vicarage, you needed to look after this big long wall here. It had to go with the vicarage, the new vicarage. So we have the massive garden. We have a garden at the back, and we have a garden here as well. And over there, just over there, we applied to put a room, what we call a garden room in what we wanted, because there's nowhere in the church to do, because the church is so cold in the winter, do meetings and do kids work and to hold Alpha courses. We wanted to get a room there, but we put an application in, but it got rejected by the council. So now we have to look what to do. What happens is this reverts to my land, and over there, all the way down behind the house, is also the back garden. And when I said to him, I said, one of the consequences is that we have to now look after this. He was like, because it's bad enough. I mean, it's a blessing. It's a real blessing to have so much land, but we're trying to think how we can use this now. It's funny because the vicarage is on private land, but I own the land. But the house is owned by what we call the diocese, who looks after, who own the house. But when you're the priest, it's your land. So we can only do certain things. So we're thinking how we can use this land for the benefit of the church or the local community or something like that. So that's a really exciting thing. So that's one thing coming up. So this year is really big. Let's see if I can clean this water off. I should have bought some. I didn't realise actually it was going to rain. So look, the sun's coming out now and there's blue sky up there. You see? Welcome to England. So on a practical note, like, we're really growing, and that's really exciting. Really great stuff happening in the church. Services that are growing. Online stuff, that's a challenge. We want to be online, but obviously we can't do the live streaming. And so how does that work? And we're really engaging with people, and there's some people who have actually found a church and come to our church because of the live streaming services, and through my YouTube channel as well. So it's a really fruitful thing. But how do we do it when you're having a service and you really want people to engage live, but you can't? So we have some practicalities, and then we got this. So that was a rookie mistake, but at least it gave me time to clean the camera lens. Memory card was full. I think I stopped as I was just saying. So how do we grow as a church when we're kind of limited on some of the plans that we wanted to do and how we think about that, because we can't, even though we got a massive churchyard, people are buried here, so we can't do that. It costs money. If we really wanted to get an extension, then that costs a lot of money. Plus, this is what we call a grade 1 listed building. It really means we can't touch the building. We can't hammer even a nail into the wall inside without asking permission to do it, because it's of historical interest. So it's a real challenge to try and grow a church, when we've got limitations on how we can use our building. But the great thing is actually is that we got a building. You know, look at it. It's stunning. Trying to get out of the way there. It is truly beautiful, and if you see the lay of the land where we are, it's actually on top of a hill, and it's pretty amazing to think many years ago when we the sun's out now, it's getting beautiful, still cold, when there was none of these houses and things like that around, that this would have been you would have been seeing it from a long way away. It really stands out. And it's prominent, and that's one thing that's kind of sticks with me being here, is that this church is way bigger. If you think where we are, in a small village just outside this town called Aylesbury, it shouldn't have a church this big, and there's all something going on. Why did they build a church this big? And it's a question people ask, and they've tried to look into it, but they couldn't find the answer. It's just it's a big building and a lot of investment to build a building like this, and it hasn't changed the size since it was built. So this is at a time for now, the future, or has been. Why is this church here, and why is it so big? So that's a really exciting thing to go forward, because I want this church to be really just really active and growing, and at the heart of our community and our parish. But we are in lockdown, and that's where I started. So as I walk back home, lockdown, there's a huge frustration. But I say lockdown, right? If you stand here, there is no lockdown. The traffic is so busy. I've been getting up and running at like 6:30 in the morning, at 7, and the amount of traffic is unbelievable. So we say lockdown, but it's like pubs and restaurants and things are closed, and gyms and stuff, but everyone else is still carrying on and doing their thing. So we've lost the interaction with people, and a lot of people are staying at home, and I can't do as much. I've got 2 schools that I haven't gone in since last year, and I'm doing the assemblies for them, and that's great, and we're doing it online, but it's not actually the same. So lockdown can be really frustrating, for our family. It's it's really good, because we've got closer. It's actually a time that we have been forced. Actually, my wife is on furlough. That means she's not working, and so we're all at home, and we're really enjoying that time, as hard as it is sometimes, being teachers as well. It's brought us closer together as a family, which is great, and we would never had that time. It actually ups my work as a vicar when we close a church, because there's more things to do, and there's all these little things that you want to get done, and also you're trying to split your time in between being a teacher as well, and trying to let my wife do her things that she needs to do, and also because I work part-time, I'm trying to get that balance. There's an animal there. So for us that's been great, but we're there, and it's really limiting on how you can be as a vicar, and how you do your job. You can only do so much during lockdown, and to be doing the right thing. So we have this tension, so on the one hand it's been really good, on the other hand it's been really frustrating, but the only thing that we can do, and this is what I said last year to the church when we closed, is that we put it in God's hands. This is not our problem. Actually, we just faithful, we carry on praying, we carry on doing the services, you carry on engaging with the community as much as you can, and then it's his problem. You know, we're still being faithful, and I said that last year, and the church grew, and the church is buzzing at the moment, and it's trying to carry on that momentum and to say, look, God, you got to help us here. We're still carrying on doing what you want us to do. So that's what we're going to carry on doing, and hopefully we come out of this lockdown soon, but we'll still be faithful. Just because we can't come together physically here, it means we just have to come together virtually and keep in contact, and that's why we started this quiz, and we're trying to start other things that we normally do, like a coffee morning. We're going to bring that online as well and get everyone to just grab a cup of coffee and sit down and catch up and chat, and bringing that community together. Coronavirus and lockdown has made us think about church differently, and that's a great thing. It took a global pandemic for the church to move on this and react to it. Should have done this many years ago, but at least we're doing it. So that's a little update from lockdown 3, the final whatever it is, the final film, and we are going to and I'm going to go home now, because I've still got to carry on teaching. I've got to come back and do the recording, and I want to get this up for you, to get this out. This Vicar's Life's going to come out, like I said, every month. You're going to be involved in parishes, seeing what's going on, and I'll take you around with me to show you what my life is like. At the moment, it's a bit frustrating, but that's in God's hands. What comes out after, it'll be exciting. I'm sure He's got enough work for me to do in the future. Oh, and I didn't even speak about the team. That's another thing. We got big news of they're going to create a team here, and they want this church to become part of that team. And there's another thing, but that can come on the next month's edition of Vicar's Life. So look out for that when it comes out, and I'll speak more into that when we're there. All right, stay safe, as they say, and I'll see you soon. Bye.